Okay, last 5 minutes. Any lessons that you've learned from economics teaching? Anything that surprised you about economics teaching? We're quite short on time, so if we can keep it reasonably econ specific, but if there's no one else talking, then we can go with anything. Go on, Ben.
Yeah, I always talk. I was a bit late coming in, I'm afraid, so I missed some of the things mentioned the first thing. But when we were talking about micro and macro, and especially young teachers, teach the entire spec as soon as possible. I think it's so important to understand exactly where the kids are going on both the micro and macro side. And just picking up on one comment from earlier on, it's always that danger that you do get pigeonholed into being the micro teacher or the macro teacher, and then you have to replace them in a few years and so on. So the quicker as a young teacher you can, you don't want to take on too much too soon, but the quicker you can get to grips with the entire spec and face the challenge of, yeah, I've done micro 1 year, but I'd like to do macro the next, and do that. That would be my advice for every young teacher coming through.
That's really interesting, to get the breadth,
Yeah.
And then after you've got the breadth, would you recommend specialising, or would you recommend staying somewhere between?
I don't know, it probably comes around to personal taste, but I always am wary of particularly sort of colleagues who just want to be the micro teacher or just want to be the macro teacher. And then when it comes to timetabling, it does make it easy in some ways. But I do fear that, oh, well, what if they leave, or what if we have an illness or so? And just that ability to swap around. And I think it keeps it all fresh as well, doesn't it? So I think not being too much pigeonholed into that one area is probably a good bit of advice.
That's a really interesting one. Any others? Things that you wish you knew, or things that surprised you? Oh, I can't see any hands. I'll go. Things that surprised me. I was surprised at coming from training to teach maths. There are maths resources everywhere. There are maths experts everywhere. There's conversations about maths education everywhere. And actually coming to economics and finding that perhaps wasn't quite as broad, and there wasn't the discussions going on, etc. But I have found that Twitter is, I know I'm preaching to the converted mainly here, but Twitter, the Facebook groups, talking to other economics teachers has been really helpful. And also on a practical note, the print to PDF extension on Chrome has been a bit of a game changer, because we do a lot of like taking news articles or taking reference articles or whatever. But if you take stuff from the internet, don't you find that when you copy and paste, it ends up with pictures and captions all over the place, and it just takes out all the pictures and it moves everything to the same, it makes all the text the same math size, and you can delete sections really easily. So that's probably, it's only a little thing, but some things like that make a big difference. It's a print to PDF Chrome extension. I'll put a link when I write it up.
Brilliant, thank you.
When I write it up properly. And I will write this up, by the way. I'll try and be a bit quick about it this time. Are there any more? Oh, Manisha, go on.
This is quite school specific, because my school were amazing at sending me on training courses and stuff like that. But I've literally just found go on as many as you can, like resources, networking, that kind of thing, and just talking to people, because a lot of people are having the same problems with you about kind of differentiating between 24 out of 25 and 20 out of 25 on essays and things like that. Subject knowledge has been like huge for me, especially moving from, because I had the issue of moving from macro to micro. But yeah, those kind of things. So I think definitely like going on as many training courses as possible, and just kind of meeting people, talking to people, that kind of thing. Milton Keynes is really good for like, all the economics teachers tend to kind of know each other around here. So we're really good at kind of like talking to each other and meeting up and sharing resources and that kind of thing. So
yeah, I guess when it's not as readily available, you really have to hunt it out, don't you? Any more? I've got Matthew. Did I already come to you? I'm confused. Did you have a hand up, Matthew? That was a while ago. Sorry, it's my husband. He's slow. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's been really interesting. I think lots of people have already put Twitter handles, etc. But if you'd like to share those, I will make a list. Twitter handles, blogs, podcasts. There's some new podcasts, which has been really exciting. Obviously, we've got the Economics in 10 that's been going for a while, but there's been a couple of new ones this week, which has been really good. I have got a feedback form. It's completely optional. It's very general, just in case there's anything different. If you did come last time and you preferred last time to this time, anything useful like that, or if there's any topics that you'd like to discuss in the future. So my glamorous assistant will post that, she says. He's not concentrating. Any AOB, any jobs going, anything else that anyone would benefit from sharing? Crickets. That's good. Silence, tumbleweed. That's really good. Okay. Oh, go on, Nicola.
Sorry, I was just really interested. It doesn't have to be answered. People can put it in chat or whatever. But what the most useful piece of tech anybody had used in kind of the current crisis? What was the most useful piece of tech that they'd found? My graphics tablet has revolutionised my life in my online lessons. And I was just, if people put it maybe in chat or something, what the most useful thing they possibly learned tech-wise in the last 10 weeks would be. And maybe the rest of us can go away and learn that.
It's interesting about graphics tablet. I had one at university and to draw graphs, and then I never used it. But I can imagine it'd be good for teaching. I'm not teaching at the minute, but for tutoring, I use a pen on an iPad, and that's been pretty good. Andrew, the podcast is, I can't remember his name. He's here last time, but
Econ and me.
Econ and me. There we go. Again, it's aimed at students, but it's
Oh, Will Haynes. Will
Haynes, that's the one. It was on the tip of my tongue. But yeah, I think it's just good that there's stuff coming out of the woodwork, which is really, really good. And also, Andrew started writing over the last couple of months, but also Yusuf.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that's another really good one. He's churning them out at a real pace. I'll add that to the list as well, because that's been quite good. There's Seneca for knowledge testing. That's really interesting. Cool. Right, I shall let you get on, but feel free to hang around for another couple of minutes if you've got questions or want to chat to each other or whatever. I won't kick you out just yet, but if you do want to get on and have your dinner, then feel free to head off. I don't know when I'll do the next one. I don't know if it's worth carrying on doing one each month or what, but if you can write on the feedback form if you have any strong views. We have quite a few. I think last time we had about 30, this time we've got about 15, but actually I think it's, in some ways, it means that we've managed to have a conversation more than sharing ideas. So I think it's good either way, which has been good. Okay, right, I'll leave it there, but you can feel free to go if you want to ask each other questions. Go ahead with that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Isabel.
Thank you.
Cheers, thank you.